Good morning, students. Today, I'm talking about the topic winding up subject to supervision of court. Winding up, as you all know, is about the process involved in respect of the dissolution of the company, and there are so many modes of winding up of the company. This is one of the mode of winding up of the company, subject to supervision of court. So company can be wound up without the intervention of the court, but voluntary winding up may be under the supervision of the court. At any time after the company has passed a special resolution for voluntary winding up by the court, we make an order that the voluntary winding up shall continue subject to the supervision of the court. This is in respect of the voluntary winding up of the company when members of the company wishes to discontinue the business of the company. In that case, that decision is to be passed in the meetings of the shareholders of the company, members of the company, by passing a special resolution to that effect to make an order for the to start the initiative process of winding up with the company, but that requires the interference on the part of the court. Sometimes voluntary winding up is under the supervision of the court, under the control, you can say, administration of the court of law. If court thinks that it is good for the interest of the company to interfere in the affairs of the company, that is required for the purposes of the winding up of the company. So winding up, because it involves certain legal procedures to end the life of the company, uh, and after winding a company ceases to exist is its business, and the members of the company ceases to be a member of that particular company because that company name has been removed from the register of companies by the registrar of companies. So a company can be wound up without the intervention of the court. It can be wound up without any interference from the side of the court of law. Company can wound up its business activities, discontinue its business operations um, within India, or of its affiliate companies, subsidiary companies. Company can do that, but under certain circumstances, the court may interference into the activities of the company, uh, passed in order for the voluntary winding up. So sometimes it is required, the intervention is required from the side of the court to to interference and to complete the process of winding up of the company. So the court may make an order that the voluntary winding up shall continue subject to the supervision of the court. So court uh, interference in your winding up process, and court administered your winding up process. Maybe sometimes court appoints the official liquidator to complete the proceedings of the winding up of the company, and that is one of the way of interference in the process or the procedures of winding up of the company. Because there are legal formalities involved in respect to winding up, in respect to incorporation as well. So we have to comply with all the legal formalities uh, for the purposes of the branding of the company under the directions, under the supervision of the court of law. So when the voluntary winding up is in progress, if any creditors or contributory or the liquidator, official liquidator may be sometimes appointed by by the court of law, or by sometimes by the tribunal as well. So any creditors of the company or contributors of the company is not satisfied, they may apply to the court for winding up under the supervision of the court. So application can be filed and appeal can be made to the court to for the uh, for the interference on the part of the court in the process of winding up the company. So they may apply to the court, and they may means the creditors of the company, the contributors of the company, or sometimes the liquidator is not satisfied with the process of winding up the company. So they may file an application, they may apply to the court and to get their uh, approval for their reasons and for which grounds they applied for the winding up and why they wish to the interference of the court in the process of the winding of the company. So they may apply to the court. They may means the creators of the company, the contributors of the company, the liquidators of the company. When the winding up is voluntary by nature, that is voluntary winding up. So sometimes, and it is in progress, but they are not satisfied with the proceedings of the winding up of the company, then they may apply to the court, may file an application, written application, petition in the court of law to issue to get an order for the supervision of the court for the purposes of the winding up of the company. So such an order is passed by the court on any of the following grounds: when it is good, when it is in the interest of the company, or when it is in interest of a large number of shareholders of the company, or creditors of the company, or contributors of the company, or liquidators of the company. So they may make an appeal, they may file an appeal or written application to the court of law that they all ask, they all write an uh, appeal requesting the court of law to interference in the proceedings of the winding up of the company. So, so company can be wound up, maybe company can be wound up, although company can be wound up without the supervision, without the interference of the court of law, without the administration of the court of law. The company can be wound up by following all the legal formalities in respect of winding up, as mentioned in the Companies Act 2013 in respect of the winding up of the company. But sometimes interference is required when the interest of the parties is affected because of the winding up of the company. So in that case, the interested parties and the affected parties, they may make an application requesting the court of law to please interference and please interfere in the activities, interfere in the proceedings of the winding up. Uh, by in written form, application has to be written by the parties concerned, person concerns, in whatever capacity they are in relation with the company. If it is not in the interest of the company to be wound up, then the all affected parties may make an application requesting the court of law to you know, to uh, to issue an order for interference into the proceedings of Andico and to uh, uh, give their opinion for cancelling the winding up of the company by giving the orders to the company that not to wind up their business, or maybe the court can issue an order not to wind up the business of the company. Sometimes court may interfere and give the order not to wind up the company without their uh, without the order of the court. So, if such an order is passed by the court, there are certain grounds. There are certain grounds for the on which the court winding up is subject to supervision of the court of law. So, when the voluntary winding up is in progress, it is in progress, and if any creditors of the company they see that if they see that it is not in the interest of the company, it is not in the interest of the large number of shareholders of the company who are the members of the company or owners of the company up to the extent of the capital contribution of the company, that it is not good for the company to wind up at this stage of after incorporation, just after commencement, and it is not good for the company, not good for the shareholders of the company who have invested their funds in the company to wind up at such an early stage of incorporation and commencement of business. In that case, the court may interfere in the winding up procedures and make an issue an order not to not to continue the proceedings of the winding up and shall continue its business after the uh, order of the court of law that is subject to supervision of court. Then point number A in this, the liquidator is partial, that is a one ground, or negligent in collecting the assets. In that case, the appeal can be filed by any member of the company, shareholders of the company, creditors of the company, that to discontinue that process of winding up, and to issue an order to the company not to wind up their business operations till further orders of the court of law. So, if you find that something, the liquidators of the company, they are negligent in performing their duties in respect of winding up of the company, in respect of collecting the assets, realization of all the assets, and they are very partial in that, they are very biased in that, in terms of collecting the assets, amount from the assets, whether fixed by nature or current by nature, from the debtors of the company, bills receivables of the company, or the cash in hand is there, cash in bank is there, closing stock is there, or so they are sometimes the members of the company or shareholders of the company to think that liquidity is not uh, uh, working, is not functioning in a diligent manner, and very careless and very negligent in performing its his or her duties in respect of collecting the funds from the sale of assets, realization of assets, for the purposes of the payment of dues to the company and with interest to the companies. So that is a one case, that is point number A, when liquidator is partial or negligent. Partial means biasness, favor to any person. Sometimes liquidator is favor to any party, any third party, and favor to any other persons. Maybe connected with the company, not connected with the company. Sometimes his judgment, his opinion uh, is very partial by nature, and so he is performing very negligent in respect of winding up of the company, and in respect of collecting the assets from by realization of assets for the purposes of payment of dues to the dues on company with interest to the third parties or to the bankers of the company, financial institutions of the company, who provides those advances to the company. So at the end, we have to close the books of accounts, and for the purpose of closing the books of accounts, we have to make payments of debts and liabilities, and we have to make arrangement for that. And in making for arrangement for that, we have to sell our assets to the uh, to, to realize our assets, collecting all our dues from the debtors of the company, from bills receivable of the company. Then we have funds to that can be utilized for the purposes of payment to the creditors of the company, lenders of the company, bankers of the company, and any other third party with whom company is owing to debt. And this is the first round. That is a liquidator is partial. When you see that liquidator is partial in performing his duties and responsibilities in respect of realization of the assets. Then point number B, the majority is playing fraud with the minority. In that case, in this ground, the winding up is subject to supervision of court. Majority of shareholders playing fraud with the minority shareholders at the time of when their company is involved with the process of winding up of the company. In that case, a majority is playing fraud with the minority. That is another case of when court can issue an order for binding up, voluntary binding up, but under subject to supervision of the court, subject to control of the court of law. Then only the company can bound up its business activities. Otherwise, company has to cannot bound up uh, till further orders from the court of law. Shall discontinue to wind up the procedures of the winding up, and can continue its business operations till further orders from the court of law in respect of winding up of the company. So the rules regarding winding up of a company have not been fully compiled yet. In such cases, the court may make an order that the winding up of the company shall continue subject to the supervision of the court and on such terms and conditions it thinks fit. So sometimes it is good for the company, sometimes it is not good for the company to wind up. In that case, the interference of the court is required because court has powers to issue an order to the company not to wind up its business or to wind up its business activities as per the terms and conditions as court thinks fit and fit for the company uh, to start or initiate the process of winding up of the company. When court think it is not good for the company issues an order to the company that not to wind up its business activity and to uh, not to continue anymore the process of winding up of the business. This is by the order of the court. Sometimes interference is very important. Interference of the court is very important because the court is uh, very powerful authority and very official authority to direct and supervise the company, direct and administrate the company into the affairs, day-to-day affairs of the company. Court has a power to interfere in the activities of the company when it is fit, court may interference in the activities of the company if any of the member of the company make an application to the court of law that then in that case court may interference in the activities of the company and issue an order as required as the court thinks it is in the interest of the company to issue such orders to the company to protect the company from the um, directors who have their own personal motives, personal desires, personal wishes, and they are working for their own goals rather than the goals of the company. In that case, it is required to that the court may interfere in the activities of the company. As court thinks it is in the good, it is good for the company, it is in the interest of the company, and for the sake of the large number of shareholders of the company, the court may interference during the process of voluntary winding up of the company. And these are the points of subject to supervision of court. When court may issue an order for the winding up of the company or not to wind up the company. These two powers has rests with the court of law. So court may order for the winding up of the company, may not order for the winding up of the company, and the liquidity is partial or negligent in collecting the assets. The majority is playing fraud when the majority or shareholders of the company they are playing games, they are playing fraud elements with the minority shareholders of the company because they have major shares in the company. So they have in the position they are in the positions uh, to play a fraud with the minority shareholders of the company. Sometimes rules regarding winding up we have not been fully compiled with. So any person who make an appeal, file an appeal to the Court of Lords that please uh, make an interference in the activities in respect of winding up the company. In that case, court may interfere. The court may interfere when court thinks that it is good and for the interest of the company. The court may interferes into the activities of the company and the most important effect of the supervision order is that it gives the court necessary jurisdiction. Jurisdiction means your domain, your area, your limitations, your restrictions. That is your jurisdiction. Over suits and legal proceedings that gives a power to the courts that uh, it gives the court in a sense of jurisdiction. Jurisdiction means the your space, your domain, your area, or you can say limitations or restrictions over suits and legal proceedings, as in the case of compulsory winding up under the order of the court. Sometimes voluntary winding up is also subject to supervision of court. But in case of voluntary compulsory winding up by the order of the court has a power to interfere over the legal proceedings and suits of the company and give their supervision order to the company that is required for the purposes of the winding up of the company to make the company to be dissolved by following the procedures as per the Companies Act 2013 to the company, that the winding of the company shall continue and subject to the time to time supervision of the board during the process of winding up. And the company is in the process of selling of its assets and paying off its debts, and the company is in the process of closing the books of accounts of the company and making the payments of all the liabilities of the company, whether it is borrowed capital of the company or share capital of the company or any other loans or advances of the company. Uh, because company is in the process of closing the books of accounts, closing down the company, so you have to make all the accounts closed before closing of the officially closing of the company. The financial books of the company, ledger books of the company has to be closed by making the uh, entries of transactions in the books of accounts of the company that is required for the closing of the books. So, and if you found that some biasness is there, some favoritism is there, if you see these elements during the process of winding up, someone gets more, someone gets less. If you see these elements during the process of winding up, as a member of the company, you find that some insider trading is also happening inside the company. They are playing their games inside the company. The board directors of the company, their objective is to wind up the company to for their personal gain and personal wish, and not for the it is not for the interest of the company to wind up. In that case, but it is necessary for the company to the court may interfere in the activities of the winding up of the company. So when directors of the company, they are playing for their personal interest and they are playing a game with the company. They have intention is to commit fraud with the company. In that case, the court may order for the compulsory winding up under the order of the court. But sometimes voluntary winding up is also subject to the supervision of court. Although it is voluntary winding up, but the court interference is required to properly complete without any purging of accounts, without any manipulation in accounts, by properly following the standards, accounting standards, and generally accepted accounting principles, or international financial reporting standards, as it is required for preparation of the books of accounts of the company and for the submissions of the uh, returns of the company, the ROC of the company. That is required for closing the books of accounts of the company. That is a very important step in the winding up of the company. So for closing of the accounts, we have to make settlements of the dues first. Then if anything left with the company, that can be utilized for the payment of surplus to the members of the company, shareholders of the company in the form of dividends uh, in respect of the number of shares they have hold or held in the company. So, then winding up subject to supervision of court. Generally, liquidators appointed in voluntary winding up is allowed to continue, but the court may appoint one or more additional liquidators. That is their interference. How many is that? How court interference? Court means company law board. Under this company law board, there will be separate courts for the company as well, dealing with separate issues. And there's a national company law tribunal is there, a latest company law board is there. So, liquidators appointed in voluntary winding up is allowed to continue, as in the case of voluntary winding up, liquidators is appointed by the company. But sometimes the meaning is that how court will interference in your uh, activities of winding up procedures. So how court interferes by appointing official liquidators, additional liquidators, or that number is one or more. That means one, two liquidators, additional liquidators appointed by the court for the purposes of voluntary winding up of the company. That in this way, the court interferes in your activities, how you wind up your business. That to see when court wish to see how you wind up your business, how you close your books of accounts, how you make payments of your debts, what is your financial condition in respect of solvency positions of the company at the time of liquidations or winding up of the company. Court wishes to see your positions, solvency positions, financial positions at the time of winding of the company. So court may appoint one or more additional liquidators, official liquidators. Liquidators here are persons who are responsible for the completing the formalities in respect of winding up of the company. So the court may remove any liquidators appointed. That is also interference by the court. Sometimes, if the court thinks that is um, good for the court and good for the company, occasioned by the removal or by death or by resignation of a person, in that case, the court has power to appoint additional or to appoint liquidators for the company. The court may also appoint or remove a liquidator. That is a power available to the court of law for the purposes of the appointment of liquidator to complete the proceedings of the liquidations of the company and winding up of the company or dissolution of the company. You can say dissolution is the end result of winding up process. Company said to be dissolved after winding up. So the court may also appoint or remove liquidators on an application made the registrar in this behalf. The liquidators so appointed shall have the same powers and duties as in the case of appointment of liquidators in a voluntary winding up. So these are the powers available to the liquidators appointed by the court of law in the case of voluntary winding up, subject to supervision of the court. That is interference on the part of the court in the winding up procedures. If it is not following, if the company is not following, although company is artificial person, company run by its directors of the company, they are responsible for the internal management of the company. And if directors they are not following the procedures as required for the winding up of the company, and that official liquidator is not appointed by the company, in that case the court has power to appoint official liquidators to complete the proceedings. If court thinks that liquidator works for the personal interest and not for the interest of the company, in that case court has a power to remove the liquidators, official liquidators, and appoint another liquidator in that place, replace that person for the purposes of winding up of the company, and that is a voluntary winding up. So the court may also appoint or remove liquidators on application made to the registrar in this behalf. Because registrar of the companies keeping records of the companies in respect of the companies, the MO of the companies with the registrar, the year of the companies with the registrar, the annual reports, annual accounts of the company, any important documents of the company, is the copies is with the registrar of companies. So the liquidators on the application made to the registrar in this behalf, the liquidators so appointed shall have the same powers and duties as in the case of unlimited liquidators in a voluntary one. So powers remains the same in respect of liquidators of the company, and duties remains the same as in the case of in the case of appointment liquidators in a voluntary winding up. Then continue this section, winding up subject to supervision of court. The court will have all the powers as it has in the case of a compulsory winding up, such as staying of suits and other legal proceedings and making calls, etc. Because if final call is not paid by the shareholders of the company, in that case, reminder for payment of the final call is to be made to the shareholders of the company by the company that make payment of your final calls. To the company with interest. Sometimes interest has been with value calls of the company, and that has to be paid to the company by the shareholders of the company to the extent of their unpaid capital to the company, because company is in the process of winding up. So the court will have all the powers as it has in the case of compulsory winding up, and meaning is that court has a maximum power. Court is the supervising authority, is the administrative authority, is the official authority that overseeing and supervise the affairs of the company. If court thinks that it is in the interest of the company to interfere in the activities of the winding up procedures, and court may have power to interfere even if there is no application or field. Court can interfere into the affairs of the company. So, it is a case of compulsory winding up. So, in that case, court may interferes into the affairs of the company and sting of suits and other legal proceedings, we can call, etc. So, through the winding LIP remains a voluntary winding up. Section 527 of the Companies Act empowers the court, that gives a power to the court to pass an order for compulsory winding up in case of need, superseding the order of winding up under its supervision. And in case of winding up under the supervision of the court, when the affairs of the company have been completely wound up and the liquidator has submitted his report to the court recommending dissolution, the court shall pass an order dissolving the company, and the company is treated as having been dissolved from the date of the order of the court. So when I'm trying to speaking this uh, explaining these terms as per section 527 of the Companies Act of 2013 that empowers the court powers to the court to pass an order, issue an order for the purposes of compulsory winding up of the company in case of need superseding the orders of winding up under its supervision. Means supervision under its supervision means under the supervision of the court of law. So earlier it is Company Law Board, also act as a court, and now it is the National Company Law Tribunal is there, a National Company Appellate Tribunal is there, NCLT is there, NCLT is there. So in case of winding up under the supervision of the court, when the affairs of the company have been completely wound up. So all the affairs means the company ceases to do its business activities, when company ceases to uh, continue, and the members ceases to be the members of the company because company not in records after its wind up from the company. The company name removes from the register of companies from the register of companies from by the register of companies, and liquidator has submitted his report to the court recommending dissolution. Recommending means advising the court to issue an order and to issue an order for the dissolution of the company. The company has completed all the formalities in respect of dissolution, in respect of winding of the company, and liquidator has to submit his report, to the court of law. Recommending means is that advising. We can only give advice, no, we cannot direct. We cannot direct the court of law. Court of law is the highest authority, the supervision authority. We cannot direct. Court can direct the company, but company cannot give directions to the court of law. That is a very important point to be noted down. So we cannot direct. That is the very highest authority of the Ministry of Law, Company Affairs, Ministry of Company Affairs, MCA, Government of India. That is very highest authority. Courts are there, special courts are there. So we cannot challenge the court of law. We can only recommend. We can challenge our case, but we cannot challenge the court of law. So court has a power to issue instructions, directions, and advise and orders to the companies for completing the formalities in respect to winding up as per the Companies Act 2013. If it is not comply with, the court can issue an order to comply with the provisions of the Companies Act. If not comply, the penalty provisions are there, imprisonment is there, fine is there. So the officers of the company who are involved in that particular case of not following the provisions of the Companies Act in respect to winding up, then that person has to pay a fine as imposed on him or her, or go for imprisonment as per the Companies Act 2013. So the court shall pass an order dissolving the company. The company is treated as having been dissolved from the date of the order of the court. Then come to the winding up of unregistered companies. The winding up procedures of unregistered company, which is not registered with the register of companies, that is unregistered companies, not in records, not registered company. Winding of unregistered companies. Point number one in this, subject to the provisions of this part, any unregistered company may be wound up under this act. Under this act means under the Companies Act 2013 in such manner, the mode and manner the method, you can say, procedure, you can say, process, you can say, any way you can define, as we prescribed, and all the provisions of this act that is used for the purposes of winding of the company with respect to winding up shall apply to an unregistered company with the exceptions and additions mentioned in subsection 2 uh, and 2.4. That is a block of sections. Section 2 to 4 is block of section. So subject to the provisions of this part, any unregistered company may be wound up under this act in such manner as they prescribed, and all the provisions of this act with respect to winding up shall apply to the unregistered company, with the exceptions are there, additions are there, you can say deletions are there, mentioned subsection 2, section 3 and 4. That is a block. 2 to 4 means block of sections, of this particular act that deals with the process of winding up of unregistered companies. Meaning is that all the provisions, meaning of this line is that all the provisions which are applicable to registered companies will say same is shall apply to the respect of unregistered companies as well. Because you have to close your books of accounts, you have to keep and maintain your books of accounts. You have to submit a copy of your books of accounts to the ROC of the company, and reports to the ROC of the company. You have to keep your books of accounts, one copy with the head office of the company. So you have to properly maintain, you have to properly close your books of accounts. So that is applicable to whether it is registered by nature, unregistered by nature. The process remains same for winding up as per the provisions of the Companies Act, and with respect to winding up shall apply to unregistered companies as well. With exceptions, certain exceptions are there and additions are there, but the process remains the same. Then point number 2, no unregistered company shall be wound up under this act voluntarily. So voluntarily, no unregistered company can shall be wound up under this act. Under this act means Companies Act 2013. Voluntary means by your own wish you can pass the members of the company may make a resolution, may make a proposal in the meetings of the company, notifying the meetings of the company that we all the members of the company, we wish to discontinue the business operations of the company. We all wish to wind up the company. So this is a line note in this, you can say, important point in this, you can say, no unregistered company shall be wound up under this act voluntarily. Voluntarily means by your own willingness. So it shall be wound up. And point number 3 is an unregistered company may be wound up under the following circumstances, under the following conditions, namely, if the company is dissolved or has ceased to carry on business or is carrying on business only for the purpose of winding up its affairs. In that case, if company is dissolved and has ceased to carry on its business or carry on its business only for the purpose of winding up its affairs, that is a case, the circumstance you can say, in that case, unregistered company will be wound up. Okay. So dissolution dissolution is different from winding up of the company. Winding up is a process, and if the company is dissolved, it means company may be registered company may be wound up under the following conditions. The company not carrying on business for the last 5 years, in that case, it is automatically wound up. When you're not carrying your business from last 5 years and business only for the purpose of winding up its affairs, in that case it is better to wind up, it is better to officially wind up. Okay. In that case, unregistered company may be wound up under the following circumstances. If the company is dissolved because company is not ceases to carrying on its business or carrying on business only for the purposes of winding up affairs. The company's very objective of incorporation is to wind up. When company starts to wind up, that is objective, to incorporate the company, to wind up the company. That is objective. In that case, it is better to wind up. Why continue for so long, 5 years, 10 years? If your objective is to wind up, better is to wind up now. So if the company is dissolved or has to ceases to carry on its business of carrying on business, that is a line you should know as a legal, these are the legal lines you should know as a company law students. If the company is dissolved uh, or has keys means not to carry on business anymore, keys is to carry on business anymore, keys or is carrying on business only for the purposes of is a very objective, the main objective of the company of incorporation, that is hidden objective of the company is to wind up. We start to wind up. That is objective. In that case, it is better to wind up before it is better to wind up. I run for so long, 5 years, 10 years. It is better to wind up now. So, so unregistered company may be wound up under the following circumstances. Point number B is if the company is unable to pay its debts. In that case, it is better to wind up. And when company is not in a position, not in the conditions to pay its liabilities of the company, whether in the respect of borrowed capital of the company from banks or financial institutions, or from debentures holders of the company in the form of debentures of the company, that is also borrowed capital. Interest has to pay to the debenture holders, and the interest has to pay to the bankers and financial institutions by the company. When company is not in a condition to pay, because company cannot be declared insolvent. Company is an artificial person. Company has a separate legal entity concept. Members are different, and company is different. If members declare insolvent, it does not mean that company is insolvent. That is the meaning. So body corporate cannot be declared insolvent. Even if its members are insolvent, all the members are insolvent. But body corporate cannot be declared insolvent. Why? Because company has a separate legal entity concept. Company is different. Its members are different. So company has a artificial legal existence only in the eyes of law. Company does not have any physical existence. Company can only present by the members of the company, by the directors of the company in the court of law. And company can be only present in the form of common seal of the company, signed by the directors of the company with the common seal of the company, attested to the common seal of the company. So even all the directors of the company going to die, even if all the directors of the company is going to declaring insolvent, it does not mean that company is insolvent. Okay, because of the separate legal entity concept applicable to the company. This is a very important characteristics of features of the company, a separate legal entity concept of the company. And when the company is unable to pay its debts, means the debt capital of the company, whether it is unsecured loans by nature, secured loans by nature, or whether it is debenture holders of the company, the creditors of the company, the lenders of the company. So, if company is not able to pay, it does not mean that you declare insolvent. Okay, it means that the members of the company, they are only responsible for the incorporation of the company, and they are declaring insolvent because they are not able to pay their debts on time, but company is solvent. So even this the meaning is that the law of insolvency does not apply to a body corporate or a company. So if a company is unable to pay its debts, in that condition, in that circumstances, on that ground, unregistered company can be wound up. Then point number C, if the tribunal means National Company Law Tribunal, NCLT, is of the opinion that it is just and equitable that the company should be wound up. In that case, company has to wound up its business activities. The tribunal is of the opinion. Tribunal is the highest authority. Tribunal is the highest authority of the Ministry of Corporate Affairs, Government of India, uh, superseding authority, overseeing authorities over to the company. So it is, you can say, uh, orders or opinions, you can say, issued by the tribunal is applicable to the company, and the company has to follow the opinion of the tribunal and start the initiative process of winding up. And court thing, it is just equitable. When company run its business losses, and it runs into losses in the last 5 years, so it is better to dissolve the company, better to close the company, and that it is better to follow the procedures for the winding of the company, and for that you have to follow procedures, legal formalities in respect of winding up of the company. So the tribunal is of opinion that it is just an equitable, that the company should be bound out. In that case, it is good for good and for the interest of the company interest of the large number of shareholders of the company, creditors of the company, contributors of the company, uh, lenders of the company, that it is good, because company is artificial person, legal person, separate legal entity concern. It is good for the company also to wind up its business activities. The tribunal here means National Company Law Tribunal. Should all know this term in full form, tribunal. Earlier it is CLB. Earlier it is Company Law Board as per Companies Act of 1956. That is a previous company law. Now it is a new company law, that is Companies Act 2013. It is amendment in the year 2013 that leads to new formation of new law, new company law 2013. Then come to the winding up of unregistered companies, point number 4 in this. An unregistered company shall, for purpose of this act, be deemed to be unable to pay its debts, and this is a ground deemed to be unable to pay its debt. In that condition, unregistered company can go for a wound up procedures. And if a creditors by assignment or otherwise to whom the company is indebted in a sum exceeding 1 lakh rupees, then due has served on the company by leaving at its principal place of business, or by delivering to the secretary or some director or manager or principal officer of the company. So these are the conditions, these are the grounds of winding up of an unregistered company. The creditors by assignment or otherwise to whom the company is indebted in a sum exceeding rupees 1 lakh due has served on the company by leaving at its principal office of business, and by delivering to the secretary or some directors, some managers or principal officers of the company, or by otherwise serving in such a manner as tribunal may approve or direct demand under his head, requiring the company to pay the sum so due, and the company has for 3 weeks after the service or the demand neglected to pay the sum, or to secure or to compound for it to the satisfaction of the creditors. So again, I'm in explaining these all these legal terms to all of you, starting with the point number 4, an unregistered company, which is not registered, an unregistered company. All the principles as applicable to registered companies, the process as applicable to registered companies, same shall be applicable to the unregistered company. And when the company is unable to pay its debts on time, and if any application filed by creditors of the company by assignment or otherwise to whom the company is indebted, sum of exceeding rupees 1 lakh rupees due to the company by leaving at its principal office of business, or by delivering to the secretary of the company, directors of the company, or managers of the company, or important officers of the company, very important key, you can say key managerial personnel, KMPs are there in the companies, when with the word KMPs, key managerial personnel of the company, the important officers of the company, or by otherwise serving such a manner as the tribunal may approve or direct demand requiring the company to pay the sum due, and the company has 3 weeks after the service of the demand neglected to pay the sum, or to secure the compound for it to the satisfaction of the creditors. In that case, in that circumstances, that conditions, the court, the tribunal may issue an order for the winding up of the unregistered company, even after giving a reminders by the creditors of the company not in a condition to pay. But company cannot be declared insolvent because company is being artificial person. Liability of its members is limited by nature up to the extent of the capital, not unpaid capital on the share capital of the company. But if the company not in a condition to pay, even after reminders given by the creditors of the company, in that case, the tribunal may issue order to the company to start the process of winding up of the company, because company as a body corporate cannot be declared insolvent as per the insolvency law of insolvency. But and if that condition comes before the company, that company not in a condition to pay of its debts to the creditors of the company, in that case company can be wound up. So for the wound up purposes, tribunal may approve or direct to the company to wind up or wound up the company. Then point number B in this, if any suit or other legal proceedings has been instituted against any member for any debt or demand due. Okay, So any suit is filed in the case of a court of law, any legal proceeding has been instituted in the case of law, um, against any member of the company for payment of any due, any debt due, any demand due, any claim due from the company, from him in his character as a member, and notice in writing or the institutions or the suit or other legal proceedings have been served. Means you have to clear all your settlements, all your dues, final settlement with the company. Suppose you're able to pay only one paisa in a rupee, that is final settlement by you. So it must be settled by the company for the payment of its dues. So any suit, any legal proceedings has been against any member of the company. It is to claim to be paid by the company, by its members of the company. And notice in writing of the institution of the suit and other legal proceedings have been served on the company by leaving the same at its principal office of the company and by delivering it to the secretary of the company. Means reminders are there to make payments. Again, reminder sent by the parties concerned, lenders concerned. They are sending reminders to the company to pay the amounts to the company. But the company not in a condition to pay. That is a condition for binding of the company. Even a notice to that effect is given to the company to pay the amounts to secretary of the company, directors of the company, that pay their amount due uh, by otherwise serving the same in such a manner as tribunal may approve or direct the company has not been in 10 days after the service of the issue of the service of the notice. The next point in this, these are the conditions you can say, these are the grounds of when tribunal or court may issue an order for the winding up of the company or company may wind up by unregistered company may wind up on these grounds. When after giving so many reminders, receiving so many reminders, mails, notices from the lenders of the company, payers of the company, still company not in a condition to pay. In that case, it is better to wind up. Why you continue? You're not in a condition to pay to your creditors, to your lenders on time, even after reminders given to you by the person concerned, party concerned. It is better to wind up. Why you continue your business? You're not in a condition to continue. Financial position is not good. You're not in a solvency position to pay your dues on time, to maintain your transactions with third parties, to expand your business, to diversify your business, even to continue, not to expand or diversify, even to continue business activities on daily basis, you need funds. And if you don't have funds, how you continue your business? So first you should have funds for the company to continue their routine, regular business operations, daily business operations. Then you can expand your activities and diversify your activities. So without funds, you cannot continue anymore. You cannot move the next step without funds. So funds is very important, like a blood for the company, like a very important element for the company, without which company cannot continue its business without funds. So winding up of unregistered companies, point number one in this, paid, secured or compounded for the debt or demand. This is point number one. Point number two, procured the suit or other legal proceedings to be stayed or then point number third, indemnified the defendant to his satisfaction against the suit or other legal proceedings and against all cost or damages, expenses to be incurred by him by the reasons of the same. So point number one in this, paid, secured or compounded for the debt or demand. Okay. And point number two, procured the suit or other legal proceedings to be stayed or indemnify the defendant. Indemnified means the compensation, indemnify the expenditures, indemnify the defendant to satisfaction against the suit or other legal proceedings against all costs, damages, expenses to be incurred by him by the reason of the same. If execution or other process issued on a decree or by order of court or tribunal in favor of the creditors against the company, any member thereof, as such, any person tries to be sued as nominal defendant on behalf of the company is returned unsatisfied in whole or in part. In that case, the binding of a company can be proceeded. Uh, if executions or other process issued on a decree or order of any court or tribunal in favor of the creditors against the company or any member thereof as such, or any person tries to be sued as nominal defendant on behalf of the company is returned unsatisfied in whole or in part. So if it otherwise proved to the satisfaction of the tribunal that the company is unable to pay its debts, so if it is otherwise proved to satisfaction of the tribunal that the company is unable to pay its debts, unable to clear its dues on time, unable to pay if any suit is filed on the company by third party for the payment of its dues after so many reminders are there, company is still not in a condition to pay its dues on time. In that condition, the tribunal issue an order uh, for the winding up of the unregistered companies. So, even if a case is filed in the case of law, a court of law against the company for the payment of its dues by any third party, by any lender of the company, in that case, a company not in a position to indemnify the person, not in a position to compensate the person concerned, the loss suffered by the person because of non-payment by you, the interest amount he or she suffered because of non-payment of dues by the company, because company is artificial person, the liability first imposed on the company and then ultimately paid by its members. So liability first imposed on the company because of separate legal entity concept of the company, and then paid ultimately paid by its members of the company, or you can say directors of the company. They are the persons of the BOD. They are responsible for the payment of the dues of the company. Any cost, any damages, expenses to be incurred by reasons of the same, that has to be paid by the company, but company not in a condition to pay. In that case, it is better to wind up the company. Then explanation for this purpose of this part, expressions for the unregistered company uh, shall not include, this is a note in this. Explanation is the note, write it as a note in this. Point number one is this, a railway company shall not include, unregistered company shall not include a railway company incorporated under any act of parliament or Indian law or any act of parliament of the United Kingdom. Then point number second, a company registered under this act, or this is point number second, the company registered under this act, or then point number third, a company registered under any previous company's law and not being a company, the registered office whereof in Burma, the name of the country, Burma, Aden, Pakistan, name of the countries immediately before the separation of that country from India. So explanation is a note uh, in respect of unregistered company. So unregistered company shall not include railway companies. Okay. Railway company incorporated under any act of parliament or other Indian law or any act of parliament of the United Kingdom, that is UK. Then point number two in this, a company registered under this act means Companies Act 2013. Point number third, a company registered under any previous company law, that is Companies Act 1956, and not being a company, the registered office whereof was in uh, Burma, Aden and Pakistan immediately before the separation of that country from India. These are the note in the case of unregistered company. Then point number two, unregistered company shall not include any partnership firm, a limited liability partnership, that is LLP, limited liability partnership, or society, or cooperative society, or association, or company consisting of more than 7 members at the time when the petition for winding up the partnership firm, a limited liability partnership, or society, or cooperative society, associations, or company, as the case may be, is presented before the tribunal. And tribunal means national company. Now again I'm repeating this line just for your remembrance that tribunal means national company or tribunal. Shall include any partnership firm a limited liability partnership or society or cooperative society, associations or company consisting of more than 7 members at the time when the petitions for winding up the partnership firm, a limited liability partnership or society or cooperative society, associations or company, as the case may be, is presented before the tribunal. Then come to the concluding remarks. A company, being a creation of law, can come to an end by the process of law. Because company starts by legal formalities and company ends by legal formalities, and company has to follow the legal procedures in respect of winding up the company. So company comes to an end, ceases to exist by following the process of law, legal process of law, and this process is known as winding up of a company. And company may be wound up in one of the following ways. Number one, winding up by court. Number two, voluntary winding up. And number third, voluntary winding up under the supervision of the court. So, a company, being a creation of law, can come to an end by the process of law, and this process is known as winding up. So, company will end up in one of the following ways. Uh, Number one, I already explained you winding up by court. Number two is this already I explained you in my previous classes and sections. Uh, Voluntary winding up. Third is voluntary winding up under the supervision of the court for today's session. And voluntary winding up may be either members voluntary winding up or the creators voluntary winding up. A part is member voluntary winding up and B part is creators voluntary winding up. A company may be wound up compulsory by court if a special resolution to this effect is passed. Point number two, if the default is made in holding the statutory meetings or filing statutory report, in that case, the company may wound up compulsory by the order of the court. If there is any default in holding statutory meetings of the company and filing statutory report with the registrar of companies, in that case, court may issue an order for the compulsory winding up of the court. The special resolution to this effect is passed, and if it is not passed, then company first has to pass resolution, then court may issue an order uh, by the for the purposes of the winding up of the company. So, for winding a compulsory by the order of the court, a special resolution to this effect has been passed in the meetings, general meetings of the shareholders of the company or members of the company. Then point number third, failure to commence business within 1 year of its incorporation. That is point number third, when you fail to commence your business within year of its incorporation of the company. In that case, it is better to wind up. You're not in a condition to commence your business. You don't have funds, finance to commence your business. You're not completing formalities for the commencement of the business as required for the public limited company has to obtain the certificate of commencement. Even after obtaining certificate of commencement, you are not in a condition to continue. Any reasons you're not in a condition to continue your business in that particular place of business, then it is better to discontinue. It is better to wind up. Then point number 4 is the number of members falling below the statutory minimum limit. That will be the case of winding up of the company. And point number 5, if the company is unable to pay its debts and any other ground which is just and equitable, in that case it is better to wind up the company. On any other ground which is just and equitable, in that case the company is going to wind up its business by the compulsory by the order of the court. The court thinks it is just and equitable, it is good for the company, it is good for the interest of the large number of shareholders, members of the company, then it is better to wind up. Why you should continue by the order of the compulsory, you have to wind up by the order of the court, you have to fulfill all the legal formalities in respect of the winding up of the company. Then petition for winding up can be presented by the company, can make a petition in the court of law, file an application in the court of law that we all have a consent, we all as a member of the company have a consent as a company, as a consent to wind up the company. So petition can be filed in the court of law in writing The petition is an appeal requesting the court of law for the winding up of the company, which start initiative process winding up of the company. Because company starts by legal formalities, companies end by legal formalities. So petition for winding up can be presented by the company or by creators of the company, by any contributories of the company, by registrar of the company, or by any person authorized by the central government. So these are the persons, they are authorized to file a petition or letter, you can say application in writing to the court of law, demanding for the winding up of the company. Uh, so these are the persons can be presented. These are the persons. Number one is company. Number two is creditors. Number three is contributories. Number four is registrar. Number five is any person authorized by the central government. Involuntary winding up, the company and its creditors are left free to settle their affairs without going to the court. So, although they may apply to the court for directions or orders when necessary, a company may be wound up voluntarily by passing ordinary resolution or by passing a special resolution where one fourth, like 75% of majority, which with the resolution of the company, with the proposal of the company. Uh, it must be notified in the meetings of the company that special resolution has been passed for the purposes of winding up of the company. So, involuntary winding up, the company and its creditors are left to settle their affairs without going to the court of law. This is in case of voluntary winding up. So, it can be without the supervision of the court, without the administration of the court, without the control of the court in case of voluntary winding up. So they may apply to the court for directions if order necessary when necessary. When they think that is court interference is required necessary for the company, for the good for the company, for the interest of the company, then may they make an application to the court of law for getting directions and instructions from the court of law how to proceed further for the winding of the company in the interest of the company, in the interest of the large number of shareholders or members of the public limited company. The interference of the code is sometimes good for the company. When when the interest of the company is affected, when the directors of the company, BOD of the company, members of the company, they work for their personal interest, personal desires, personal wish. In that case, court may interfere in the proceedings of winding up and make an issue order to the company, directions to the company, the process of winding up the company. In the case of members voluntary winding up, the majority of the directors make a declaration of solvency duly verified by an affidavit that the company has no debts, that it will be able to pay its debts in full within 3 years from the commencement of winding up. In the case of creditors voluntary winding up, there is no need of declaration of solvency, and the resolution for winding up is moved by creditors. It is generally done when the company is unable to pay its debts. So when voluntary winding up is in progress, if any creditors or contributories or liquidator is not satisfied with the winding up proceedings, he may apply to the court requesting for winding up under the supervision of the court. So the meaning of this line is that in the case of a member's demand for the voluntary winding up of the company and the majority directors of the company make a declaration of the solvency, it must be verified by an affidavit that the company has no debts, it will be able to pay its debts fully within 3 years from the commencement of the winding up. And in case of creditors voluntary winding up based on the declaration of solvency, resolution for winding up is moved by creditors. It is generally done when a company is unable to pay its debts. So company may be solvent, company, the members may be insolvent, members may be solvent, but does not affect the solvency positions of the company because of the separate legal entity concept. Company is different, members are different. Even all the members of the company going to die. Even all the members of the company going to retire from the company. In that case, company, it does not affect the life of the company. Company starts by legal formalities and by legal formalities and company, the financial positions of the members of the company does not affect the financial position of the company. Company cannot be declared insolvent as per the insolvency law because of the corporate legal corporate incorporate body, corporate body. So company has a separate legal entity concept as applicable to the company. So when voluntary winding up is in progress, if any creditor or contributory is not satisfied with the winding up process, then he may apply to the court requesting for winding up under the supervision of the court. Then keywords are the important terms are there in that particular topics. Or you all should know these important terms to be used in this topic and to use in this uh, topic. Number one is winding up. So winding up is a process by which the life of the company comes to an end. That is a dissolution. So the company, after winding up procedure, company ceases to exit its business operation, or that is a meaning of winding up. That is a process involved to come to that process. The end result is dissolution. Uh, and company, after winding up, company ceases to exist its business operation after the winding up of the company. So company is officially winding up by the official liquidators appointed for the purposes of that they are responsible for fulfilling the responsibilities in respect of the winding up of the company. Then next point is just and equitable. So just and equitable is a ground which is a penal report is reasonable ground, genuine that is genuine interest of the concerned parties. Reasonable fear to discontinue the business of the company by officially issuing the order for the wind up of the company. Then statement of affairs. A statement containing particulars regarding the assets of the company, its creditors, debtors, etc. Liquidators, a person who helps the court to complete the liquidation proceedings. So liquidators means official liquidators. If liquidator is not appointed by the company, then court may appoint official liquidators for completing the process of liquidation or winding up of the company. Then committee of inspection, a committee inspected appointed to act with the liquidators to complete the process of winding up of the company. Then next point is declaration of solvency. A declaration made of majority of directors at the meeting of the board declaring that the company has no debts or that will be able to pay them in full within 3 years from the commencement of winding up. Then summing up, in a nutshell, you can say winding up proceedings are conducted by the official liquidators and his powers are subject to the control of the court. He may also apply to the court for directions in any particular matters in winding up. He means official liquidator. The company is required to submit its report within 21 days of the order winding up in such time not exceeding 3 months and as extended by the court. A statement of affairs containing particulars regarding the assets of the company, its debts and liabilities, particulars of creditors, along with details of security, if any, and particulars of debts due to the company. This statement is required to be verified by an affidavit of one or more directors of the company and also by the manager, secretary, or chief officer of the company. When the affairs of the company have been completely wound up, or when the court is of the opinion that the liquidator cannot proceed with the winding up for want of funds or assets, for any other reason, the court shall make an order of dissolution of the company. Okay. And court may appoint an official liquidator to start the proceedings of the winding up of the company. When liquidators appointed by the company not proceeding the process of winding up for any reasons of at their end, they want some money from the company, funds from the company, they want some assets from the company, some personal interest is there with the company. On that interest, they make an order for the dissolution of the company, and the dissolution puts an end to the existence of the company. They strikes out the name of the company from the register of companies, and the company stands dissolved from the date on which the order is made by the court. The company is an artificial person created by law. As such, its life can be ended only by legal procedures. Winding up is a means by which company is dissolved. A company shall cease to exist only when it is dissolved. Thank you.